What's up, guys? Tuki here, back again. This is my Boston Bruins franchise mode series here on NHL 17, and let's get right into it. What could prove to be our last season at the helm. We had a perfect 7-0 preseason, so that was pretty nice. Of course, we are the defending Stanley Cup champions. We've now won the Cup 3 times. And obviously, now that the real-life NHL trade deadline has passed, we have the video up, the poll, where you guys, of course, vote on what our next series will be, and that is underway. Feel free to go check out that video if you haven't already to get your input as we face our first injury immediately to Sjögren. That is disappointing. Let's call up DeRocher, I guess. Tough call. I really didn't want to do too much team maintenance here, but I really have no choice. I don't know if I want this series to continue beyond this year. That is going to be up to you guys and what the interest level is. We could keep this going. Normally, of course, I try to balance 2 series at the same time. We could look to balance 3, and I could keep this going for a little bit while longer. We're going to keep the fantasy draft series going for a little bit while longer. And then, of course, the new series will be starting shortly. So, I don't know. It's an interesting time right now for me trying to decide what series I want to go with. I don't necessarily want to end the series. I can tell you right now, and I'll mention it in that video too, the fantasy draft series isn't going anywhere. We're going to do a couple more seasons because of the franchise goaltender that we just picked up. This series, we have some good prospects, particularly with the goaltending. Shane Finger is right there. We have quite a few guys who are medium top 6 in the AHL, medium top 4 defensively, and 2 elite goaltending prospects. So we have some interesting pieces with this team. But like I said, it's just a matter of whether or not we've already had a ton of success. You know, we have won 3 cups, as I already said, defending Stanley Cup champions heading in to this season. So we're just in an interesting spot. I am looking forward, though, to seeing some feedback. Shane Finger wins his very first NHL game, so we will keep him in goal. He will play Pittsburgh unless Sjögren is fully healthy. Please don't be, because this would be a morale issue. Is he going to be fully healthy? Yes, he is. Okay, well, we're going to have to change the lineup anyway. We might keep Shane Finger in just for the hell of it. We have a 5-2 record, so why not? It is, of course, the goal to get him to be the best goaltender that he can be. Motivational. But let's see here. Sjögren is back in. We're going to have to send DeRocher down. And yeah, screw it. Shane Finger will get the next start. A .933 save percentage in his first 2 games. Hannu Herme, in fairness, is still playing great. So, proof positive. And we've seen numerous times in this particular series, you don't need a 90 overall goaltender to have success. That is for sure. But let's fix this lineup again. Let's get Hummel out of there. Yeah, he's 25 years old. We will get rid of him, or not get rid of him, but at least scratch him. And let's fix the lineup again and hope that we don't have to do that too much in this episode. That would be nice. Now, the unfortunate thing, for me at least, is I have nothing to talk about. Nothing. God damn it, we do have another back-to-back coming up. Like, normally with these videos, I'll have something to talk about, but with the trade deadline that just happened, I already made a video on that, and feel free to go check that out as well. That's a 35-plus minute marathon that's actually gotten a half-decent reception, so thank you guys for that. I suppose the one thing I could say is I caught a little bit of flack about my thoughts on the Montreal trades, which I stand by my opinion on that. Also caught a little bit of flack because Alex Burrows decided to score 2 goals in his Ottawa Senators debut. Now, I mean, I've said it in response to those comments on that video. Congrats, as fucking Nick Schmaltz goes down. Congrats to Alex Burrows for a great first game. It was 1 game, and that doesn't mean that the Senators won that trade or that it was necessarily a good move. He just happened to have a very good first game. And the example that I used is after the Tyler Seguin trade, right? Matt Frazier, yeah, that's a name you might not have heard in a while. That's a name you might not have heard of at all. No offense to Matt Frazier. He looked pretty good. He looked like he might be a half-decent player. That doesn't mean the Bruins won the Seguin trade. We're not going to know. And I mentioned this in the video, too. It's stupid to... I mean, you can declare a winner in the interim. Like, you can say, like, okay, on paper, yes, this team won. Who knows? Maybe that trade works out tremendously for the Ottawa Senators. The prospect they gave up, Dahlin, maybe he doesn't turn into anything. And maybe Alex Burrows helps win the Ottawa Senators a Stanley Cup, in which case it's pretty much undisputed. Unless Dahlin goes on to win a few cups, it would be pretty much undisputed on who won that trade. But until then, we can't really declare a winner. But it was a very good first game for Alex Burrows. You can't take that away from him, no matter how much you wish you could, because boy, is he not the best person, as he has shown time and time again. And not just for what he did in the 2011 Cup final. He has one hell of a history. Let's just say that. I'm not going to compare him to anybody else and say he's more dirty than this guy, or at least this player. Like, I've seen a lot of Bruins fans do that. Oh, Marchand's a dirty player, but at least he's not as dirty as Alex Burrows. Like, that is not a good way to prove your point at all. But, yeah, I mean, you can't blame someone for not being a fan of Alex Burrows. But that didn't factor in to my opinion on the deal. But anyway, I have talked about that for much longer than I anticipated. But hey, it gave me something to talk about. Suppose I'll stick with the NHL in general. Jonathan Quick looked pretty good as Toronto loses in another shootout. Those poor bastards. I mean, that was a hell of a final save, I think, on Nylander. At the end, was it? I cannot remember at this exact moment. But that was crazy. You had P.K. Subban's return to Montreal, which, boy, that was bitter. That was just awkward to watch. Which, I mean, I said when Claude Julien signed again with Montreal that it'd be weird to see him coaching P.K. Subban. But overall, I think it would have been very, very interesting to see what PK would have done under Claude Julien as one of his players. That's still a weird situation in general that Claude Julien's the coach. That still hasn't set in. Like, it's set in and I've accepted it, but it is weird. It is strange. As we get this lineup set again, is that all I can talk about? The Bruins lost to the Rangers, which sucks a lot. It was a really good game, though. And Henrik Lundqvist, despite some struggles early on this season, like he had a sub-900 save percentage for a pretty good stretch of time. He is back on form, and that is good news for the Rangers. Brendan Smith, though, not the best first impression a player could have had. Speaking of first impressions, I wish Drew Stafford had been in the lineup, but it's looking like he will be in their lineup moving forward as we get a waiver offer. We haven't had too many of those throughout this series. Connor Bleakley, how old are you now? 26. Yeah, you are not going to pan out. It might be nice. Jesus, 88 faceoffs. Do I take him? I don't know how many contract spots we have. He would be a good depth player, mainly just due to that faceoff rating. Like I just said, too, we haven't had too many waiver claims throughout this series. He's only on a one-year deal at this point. We are going to... Maybe, I'm trying to think of who we have down in Providence right now. I'd really like to pick him up, but I can't remember if we... I'm going to decline that. I think he would be a decent depth guy, but I don't think I want to take away any ice time from those who are down in Providence. Providence right now struggling a little bit. Obviously, the main team is not. We won, 64 games last year? I haven't even really been paying too much attention. We are now 16-3 after losing to the Arizona Coyotes. And then we got shit on by Toronto. My God. That's not good. We will sit in the Carolina game. And then I think it'll be Shane Finger? Or, Jesus, 3 straight losses. Okay, so see, that is why I often won't pay attention to the record. Because the second you start to talk about it as if you're doing very well, the game can hear you. And they will flip that switch. And you'll just start getting shit on. But Hanu Harme, what's between the pipes? He has played 17 games. Shane Finger gets a chance, and we'll keep the lineup the same. I don't see why we'd make any changes. Shane Finger wins. He continues to play. Actually, even if he loses, I mean, he should win, though. Detroit, not very good this year. I probably just jinxed us, did I? No, we won 5-1. All right, Shane Finger will continue to play at least until this game against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So let's see how this goes. There was something else I just had on my mind, but I lost it. I can't remember it. That's a pain in the ass, but that is what happens. What the hell was it? Was it hockey related? It was this game related. That's what it was. Our success in the past 2 years, our goaltending isn't the best. You look top to bottom, offense and defense, not the strongest, or offensively and goaltending-wise, not the best. It has to be the defense. That defense has to be the reason as to why we are just running the NHL at this point. Why can't I sort through? We'll put Novoselicev in just because he's a center. And we'll get right back into simming. Actually, how's Clayton Keller doing? Very well. Very well. And pretty good. Nolan Patrick's doing okay. Overall, I'm not disappointed. We're getting offense from pretty much everybody. Chalowski, that's very good. All right, you know what? The team's, as you would expect, is doing very well. That third pairing, of course, not the biggest offensive contributors in the world. But, of course, a great third pairing to have is shutdown defenseman. And then Jeff Skinner gets hurt. EA, I said I didn't want that many injuries. You're killing me. And that will be, speaking of injuries, I'm sure that'll be a big topic. Of course, I will have an episode 0, so to speak, before we start the new series, once we've, of course, decided the team. And that'll be one of the questions, whether or not we have injuries on or off. That will definitely be one of the questions. And there's a good argument for both sides as to whether or not injuries should just be much lower on the slider or if they should be completely turned off. There is a very strong argument for both, but it would have, and it does have, a major effect because you don't need depth players if you don't have injuries on. I forgot to switch the goaltender. I knew that there was something, and I forgot again. I was hoping to get to the All-Star break in this episode, but we are like 13, 14 minutes into this at this point. I have no idea. I don't want this episode to go on for too much longer. Shane Finger has been incredible so far, but Hanu Herme gets a chance to take back the starting job as we play the Columbus Blue Jackets. Still, though, despite this strong start, we're only, it was 3 points above the Florida Panthers? So we have some pretty big competition. And this isn't even the fantasy draft series where it's like, oh, Sidney Crosby's on the Florida Panthers. No, so I can't quite remember who they have or if their team has changed drastically since the last time we looked. Tommy Benson is back from injury. Can Hanu Herme beat the Caps? He cannot. So Shane Finger will once again take control of the crease. We are 4 points ahead of the Florida Panthers. Right. So, not looking like this team is going to be a record breaker. It is looking like we're struggling a little bit, but I'm not too concerned. We don't need to hit 65 wins for this to be considered a strong season. Novoselicev will be scratched for Benson. How's the goaltending doing down in Providence? Poulin, not bad. Nesbitt hasn't played that much at all, but I'm not too concerned. Not too concerned. It is December 10th. So we have a ways to go if we want to make it to the All-Star break. So we will try to try to get through this as quickly as we can. But if the injuries really add up, that is going to be a problem. 2 straight wins for Shane Finger. He will play up until this Montreal game where Hannu Herme gets a chance to win back the starting job. If he loses, Shane Finger will play the rest of the games. Jeff Skinner might be back. Might be. We're going to try to stop the sim here and hope that he didn't miss a game. Will Jeff Skinner be back? Yes, he will be. He'll be back for that Penguins game. So we'll actually put Hannu Herme in against Pittsburgh. So I think Shane Finger will continue to be the starting goalie, 6 points above the Panthers and the Habs. The division's actually kind of close, which, go figure. I think by this point last year, we definitely had won at least 30 games. But let's see, Hannu Herme, and then let's get Jeff Skinner back in here. How's Tufty doing? 19 points, not bad. He was an all-right replacement while Skinner went down to injury. But let's get DeRocher back to the Providence Bruins. God damn, I'm sitting here as I'm going through these menus like, what else can I talk about? What else can I talk about? Be interesting. I'm not. That's the problem. I'm not. I try to be entertaining. I try to be interesting, but man, it is a struggle. It is a battle. It is an absolute battle. But let's see. Let's get DeRocher back up here. Platt. Let's put Ken Platt on the top line. How's Wojciechowski doing? Not great. So that worked out perfectly. The team is fully healthy. Let's play the Penguins. We'll just hit advanced day. We have a 24-7-1 record, and Tyler Seguin. You know the worst part is he's only out for like a week. So then I'm going to have to call someone up, set it back, and set it back in a week and all that. It's fuck, man. EA, you're killing me. You're killing me. Now, I am lazy. I don't want to go best lines because of the way the power play lines are set up. So let's just put DeRocher in, which means he'll end up getting power play time. As funny as that will be, I'm pretty sure he was naturally a center. 72 faceoffs. You know what? We should be good enough that it shouldn't matter. So I am willing to take the risk at the expense of being completely lazy. So that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to put Hommel down on the 4th line. He will just stay on the 1st line. Let's get back into the sim. Nolan Patrick on the top line. I forgot to switch the goddamn goalies again. My God, this is a train. What? This is the train. Yes. I give up. This is a train wreck. Why do you watch me? That's the question of the episode. Why do you watch my videos? They're terrible. I'm just sitting here in front of a microphone, playing this game, ranting about nothing. But I appreciate you. That is for damn sure. I do appreciate the fact that you are here. For whatever reason, you are here at this point. Whether you've been watching my stuff for, almost, at least a year and a half at this point that I've been doing this stuff. And I know that there's some of you, there are a few of you. Don't think I don't recognize the usernames that have been here for a long damn time. Or you could be brand new. I'm gaining subscribers every goddamn day. Which, what the hell's wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people? But I'm gaining subscribers every goddamn day. So you might be new. And in that case, welcome. You're in for more of the same. I promise you nothing. I promise you nothing. But we are going to have to call up a center here. And this episode's getting to be a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. I was aiming for 20 minutes, which we're getting there. We are getting there. We might have to go best lines here. Actually, no, I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna be lazy. Actually, come on. Of course now Sagan's healthy. Are you serious? What is this? God damn it, EA. Come on. And this is why, in a lot of older episodes... EA, what do you... Stop it. Behave yourself, EA. Bad video game. Bad. This is why I didn't send him down. What am I doing? What am I doing? This is a mess, but this will be the episode. This is why the sim periods and the jump cuts are a thing. Will we lose Sokolov on waivers? We will not. Nobody wants you Except for me. I want you to be on Providence, because you are not that bad of a player. I hate this menu system. I hit down twice. Thank you. Yay. Let's get Sokolov back in there. Sagan's healthy, for the love of God. Well, actually, he's not even fully healthy. I don't care. Oh, now he's fully healthy, or at least he's available. He should be fully healthy for this game, which will turn out to be a pretty big game against the Florida Panthers. So let's take a look. Can we end the year on a win? Yes, we can. 4-3 in overtime. Happy New Year. We played the Ottawa Senators. It would be nice if that was the Winter Classic game in Ottawa, no less. We're not going to make it to the All-Star break. We're certainly not going to make it to the trade deadline. We will take care of all of that in the next episode because, again, I want to keep this episode length a little bit further down. But we are about halfway through this season. Again, whether or not it's the last season is up to you guys, but we are 10 points clear at the top of the Atlantic Division that is currently the dominant division, as we have both wildcard spots, Ottawa and Montreal and Toronto. Not that far back. Not that far back at all. Let's take a look, though, at the league-wide stats, our team stats, the league-wide team stats. And then we will call this episode good. We are currently leading the race for the President's Trophy by 4 points over the Carolina Hurricanes. Not bad. Offensively, we barely, just barely, have the better offense over the Avalanche. Not too bad. And we do have the best defense. Our power play is middle of the road, so we'll pay attention to that. And our penalty kill is pretty damn good. Tied for 4th best in the league. Not too bad. 16-4 at home and 7-3 in our last 10. How are the Providence Bruins doing? They are not good. Well, actually, no, they are. It's sorted awkwardly. Providence Bruins are pretty good. 2nd seed right now in the Atlantic Division. So both teams doing pretty well, despite the fact that we've had to deal with more injuries than I would have cared to have dealt with. But let's take a look here. Jeremy Waugh right now leading the team in points as a defenseman, 32 in 37. He is a plus 24. Clayton Keller, the only other player to hit 30 points. Nolan Patrick's up there. Cholowski, Sagan, although he has missed 3 games. Things are going well, and that bottom 6 was a big question mark. And while they haven't been tremendous, DeRocher actually has 5 points in 14 games. That's not bad. But Schmaltz, Heinen, Sjugren, while they haven't been tremendous, I'm all right with it because we're winning. We could obviously go out and get some improvements, but whether or not that's necessary, who knows? This team might have enough to make a strong playoff push at this point. But as we get a look at the goaltending, it's been a battle. Hannu Herme, right now, 21 games, 13-7 record with a .928 save percentage. Shane Finger, 17 appearances, 15-1 as a rookie. My God, a .932 save percentage with 1 shutout. There is a chance if we go with Shane Finger as our starter, he might win the Calder. He might win the Calder if we play him enough. As you look at the goaltending, the win leader right now is Nedeljkovic. Not too bad for him, but Shane Finger is there, tied with a bunch of people that have 15 wins, including Thatcher Demko. Not too bad at all. I will look at the rookies before the league-wide point totals. So let's see. Filip Zadina. Nice. 22 points. Yeah, the rookie scoring race right now isn't crazy. It isn't crazy. Shane Finger could win the Calder, and I really don't see the reason, or a reason, as to why he wouldn't be the starting goalie at this point. He does have some competition, but you just look at the stats. Nobody's really that big of competition. Stuart Skinner, not bad, but he is a 24-year-old rookie for the Vancouver Canucks, as is Zach Paco, 71 overall. Best name ever. Let's take a look at the league-wide scoring. Leading the way, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's realistic. I'll take that. McDavid up to a 99 overall. Jack Roslovic, I think it's Roslovic, for Vancouver. Also up there with 40 points. Not too bad. Jesus, Edmonton's top line has to be Draisaitl, McDavid, and Puljujarvi. That is disgusting. As is the fact that Alex Barkov is a 94. Of course, Senyshyn has 34 points in 36 games in Dallas. Don't you fucking smirk at me, you smug bastard. Finally putting up points now that we traded your ass. What a dick. He had 38 points in 74 games last year. He's 4 points away. I'm done. I don't even want to look at you. I don't want to look at this game. What a joke. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think of the team and what changes we should make, if any. And as always, I hope you enjoyed. Support the channel, support me, support the video in any way that you deem necessary, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Emphasis. Yeah.